Hello, everybody. Welcome to week 4 of MS 102. Let's get right down to it. Why don't we? This is my rough draft video. I'm going to try to make it a little quick. It is 9:22 and I'm a little tired, and I just finished up doing some updates to the slides and getting things together for this particular session. One of the things people will notice is, oh, well, for some reason that's not published. Let's publish that. Is that I started a resource for class 4, and there's two things here for, it says Chilla and Adolescent. Whoops. It's whatever. Um, for today, there is going to be a breakout group similar to what we did yesterday. And as soon as this thing wants to load, you'll see that I have another portion of the book in here. We will have one breakout group in regards to this particular portion right here. So just to keep that in mind. And if we go down here, we see that I have the session 4 slides here as well. Let's go and start with that, shall we? I don't know why it started there, but this is the 4th session of this class. I'm your instructor. Today we're looking at emotional development, regulating one's own emotions, and understanding others' emotions. We're also going to take a look into prosocial behavior and antisocial behavior and aggression, and ultimately conflict resolution. And then we're going to talk about peers and friends, peer status, friendship, and peer networks. And all in all, this is talking about the way children develop emotionally, how they create prosocial or antisocial behaviors in order to interact with others in the environment they've grown up in, and how we as teachers resolve conflicts between students is kind of what I take with conflict resolution, and how we have our students become better individuals through the concept of conflict resolution. And what students don't want to have friends and peers in their groups, and how we show our students how healthy peer and friendship relations happen is very key to what we're doing here. I know that on top of academic achievement, I want my students to be able to interact with others in socially appropriate ways so that they can ensure benefit for themselves when they grow older and have jobs and want to have families of their own, that they're able to do it in healthy ways as adults. Similar instructional routines and strategies. Session objective for today: candidates will demonstrate an understanding of emotional development by identifying appropriate stages during class activities, demonstrate an understanding of social behavior by providing examples to scenarios provided during discussion, so on and so forth. It's all right there. I'm not going to read it out loud fully here. Warm up. Reflecting on what we discussed in class last week. How does understanding parenting style provide insight into a student? What can candidates do to support students who come from parents who are indifferent, indulgent, or authoritarian? Was there a time this week when that topic resonated with you regarding a student in your classroom? If so, what was it? So before we get into that, what we're going to do is I have let's get that together, links here in that particular slideshow. And here it says how teachers can work with 5 different parent personality types. With this particular article from teach.com, they went ahead and broke down the parent grouping a little bit more. They brought up about the idea of the executive parent, the missing in action parent or the indifferent parent, the soft-hearted parent. So that's kind of like the authoritarian versus the indulgent. And then the heavily involved parent, think of a helicopter parent. And then the after-schooling parent, which is an interesting one. After-schooling is growing in popularity. This term frequently refers to when a student attends supplementary courses or receives parent-led instruction after regular school hours. So very heavily involved, has a lot of things happening on their students' plate. They want to keep them engaged, things like that. And on this particular website, it gives some ideas about how to work with these particular parents for the betterment of their children inside your classroom. So I threw that in there to give you some ideas in regards to things to work with parents. And then we also have another website here for parenting styles, and you can see that they too have similar ideas in regards to this. And they give also a very handy dandy little checklist here in ways to work with these particular parents and suggestions for working with them. So I shared that inside that particular slide. But the be all end all with this slide is that we are going to have a quick talk around. I'm going to ask for a couple people to raise their hand. Was there a time this week where this topic resonated for you? Myself, I do have a student who's very indulgent, has a cell phone on all the time. I'm calling actually an IEP for him to discuss about this stuff, as he is a 16-year-old student who's not getting a lot of credits, and to talk with the parent about plans on how to get him more interactive with the classroom. Now, some people might be in a similar situation where they're dealing with a student who is either obviously from an indulgent or an indifferent or authoritarian background family. What kind of things are you doing in order to help these particular families and students? And that's the big thing that we need to keep in mind with this kind of stuff, is that we are ultimately trying to help the families get better with their students and getting their students' academic involvement, engagement, things like that. And for my particular note here, for my note card for an indulgent parent, gently remind parents that adding their knowledge, guidance, and expertise is beneficial and helps children feel cared for and safe, and update parents about their child's academic and in-school progress. Some quick little just check notes on there. Now, I've done that. Is this like a be-all, end-all of what you can do with a parent? No. Like I said, I'm going to call an IEP meeting. We're going to have more discussion about things. Talk about maybe permitted and non-permitted items in the school. Talk about some of the things that we're seeing inside the classroom. But these are, these are suggestions to and steps to take in order to hopefully help the student. It's not a panacea for saying that it's always going to work. As we should all know, even within your first or second year, even that the best laid plans sometimes go to waste, and sometimes you just got to keep trying and trying different things before you figure out what works for you. That would be my take on that. Anywho, we'll have a discussion on that inside the classroom. Then we're going to have a talk on why is emotional regulation such an issue in schools today? How can candidates teach emotional regulation in their classrooms? And again, I have a couple of links here in regards to this suggestion. And we're going to have a video that we're going to watch from this guy, Seth Perler, who's an executive function, ADHD, and 2E coach. I found that interesting when I saw 2E. 2 exceptional coach. He works with children who have exceptional abilities, such as like being able to do fantastic music or fantastic art or very, very intelligent, things like that, but also have a disability as well. So that's what a 2E coach is. Someone who works with children who have 2 exceptionalities is the idea behind that. So we have a video here that we're going to watch in regards to emotional regulation. And he's going to talk about things like the amygdala and how we have the fight or flight response and how our lizard brain kind of works in the background in order to ground us, things like that. And he's going to have a lot of discussion about that. And then additionally, I'm going to have everyone go into groups here. This will be the first breakout group in regards to what is emotional regulation. And this is a great little site. And I want everybody to go in here and discuss this thing here. And just basically going to have a quick little 5-10 minute breakout group discussing these particular things. But I want everybody to play around with the site real quick to talk about how we teach students emotions and what kind of things that you might be doing inside your classroom in order to teach emotional regulation inside your class. So that's what we're going to do for that particular portion of the class. After that, what are some predictors of antisocial behavior? And what are classroom implications of antisocial behavior? And again, you'll see that I have 2 more links. Pretty easy peasy here. And there's a link to a YouTube video here. Warning, this video might make you emotional, apparently. But in this video, we're going to watch like the first 3 minutes here in regards to antisocial behavior. And I'm going to pause it at one point and ask everybody what kind of behavior you think they see inside their classroom. And then for the second part of this particular class, I'm going to read aloud the implications. Where is it? Teacher training, was that it? Yes, the implications of this particular research article for the classroom of what what antisocial behaviors, how they affect the classroom, and what kind of things we as teachers can do to help students who are displaying antisocial behaviors inside the classroom become more pro-social in their behavior. So that's what I have for those particular parts of the slides. And then finally, there's a good read here, 5 Myths About Antisocial Personality Disorder. This is going to be more for if you want to have a chance to read something, it's there for more of your information. I'm not going to go over that one too much. And then, how does antisocial behavior influence a student's ability to make friends with peers? What can candidates do to support students who have difficulty making friends? And guess what? You guessed it. I got another 2 links for that in regards to this. The big thing here, the one that I like the most, is this handy dandy little checklist here for us as teachers to remind ourselves what we should be doing in regards to getting our students better ideas for interacting with others. So we have pairing a parent's child with a student or group of students who can help your child make friends and are particularly welcoming, so like buddies, including your child in small groups, coaching your child to practice specific friend-making strategies, providing buddy opportunities, monitoring, asking possibly to speak with a clinician if they have the parent's permission, determine appropriate social, emotional, and friendship-making goals with your child. So I thought this was a handy-dandy little checklist to talk about what kind of things we as teachers should be doing to help students make friends in the classroom, especially if you have students who have emotional and behavioral challenges. These are good practices to use in regards to this. I also contemplating if I want to share some life skills curriculum that I have as well in regards to these things, and then also other things in regards to 7 ways of helping children make friends. Going back to my slideshow. This is where we'll do the breakout group. We have Chapter 12, Language and Literacy. We're going to be looking at how students get language and literacy skills and how that affects them. And of course, there's going to be a little prize drawing there. And then that's it. The next class we have is going to be the final lesson plan and the final slideshow presentations. This is basically the last class where I'm going to do a lot of talking. And even then, this is kind of a shorter class. This one's probably going to be about an hour and 15 to an hour and 30. Whereas the last class, I basically took the whole 2.5 hours there. So that was the thing. So this one, I'm definitely trying to cut myself a little more shorter so that people can have more time to work on their assignments, their final assignments if they wanted to, or if they wanted to do their article reflections, things like that, catch up on some work. Anywho, that's all there is with that. And that should do it. Thank you very much for listening to my spiel.